So, story time. When this show first came out, I really wasn't paying much attention to it. I was busy with some other MHA fun times and it fell under my radar. That was until my friend Isaac from the Amateur Otaku podcast, which y'all should subscribe to and watch all the episodes with me in it, told me to go watch it for the show. I had no expectation of what this show was. I hadn't heard anything about it from the internet, so I was going in blind. So what did I find?
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
Windbreaker is a certified banger. It's so goddamn cool. The punches, the kicks, the characters. Oh my god, I fucking love it!
Take it easy, it's just a drawing.
Okay, I'll chill. Yeah, Windbreaker is a good show, and I really like it, if you couldn't tell. But why? What makes this show so good? Well, it's time to lock in, battle, and blitz our way into Windbreaker. Now, what sold me on the show was Sakura, our main lead. To go over his backstory, Sakura did not have the best times before moving into his new town. He was bullied, abused, and ridiculed by everyone in his life. But like a true legend, he fought, he met friends, and he fucking showed how awesome he is!
Take it easy, it's just a drawing.
Okay, I need to take a chill pill. Let me explain in a respectable, mature, and not fanboying way about why Sakura works as a main lead. First, some context. So before moving to his new town, Sakura's life was practically a living hell. He was bullied for his entire life due to his appearance, with his dual hair colors and eyes, which pushed him away from other people and stopped him from forming bonds. And it seemed like the adults didn't care much about him. This further isolated Sakura, but at the same time, Sakura developed great strength with his fighting skills. He's basically superhuman with his moveset. But then he moved to the town to become a member of Bofurin, because its school is well known for its great fighters, and he wanted to be at the very top. Now you might think this was the start of some descent into villainy. His desire to be the best and strongest at the school would motivate him to be a massive dickhead. But Sakura's path is forever altered when he spots some punks harassing a lady, that being Kotoha, which we'll talk about later. Sakura kicks their asses with ease, but as he goes, Kotoha stops him and thanks him for saving her, and Sakura responds with this.
I only took him out because I couldn't stand him, not because I was trying to save you, so don't go getting the wrong idea, okay?
Yeah, Sakura isn't some evil villain who wants to reign on top at his core, but just a damaged person who never received any warmness until this moment. Naturally, Sakura doesn't know how to process human decency, so he acts like a male tsundere. But then Kotoha drops a bar on him about his attitude and wanting to be the top at Bofurin.
I never said you couldn't hold your own in a fight. But that's not enough to be king of the school. Know why? 'Cause you're alone.
This moment planted the first scene to Sakura's development, which was starting him to open up to people. He still very much reacts negatively and sheepishly to warmness, whether it be people giving him stuff for him helping them out, but then, throughout the rest of the show, Sakura, bit by bit, somewhat warms up to people. When he meets Nire, he's very annoyed by him, but in the same episode he meets him, Sakura does commend Nire for defending a lady from some assholes. Though he's still being restrained in his praise and still acts like a bit of a punk, it does show a noticeable shift in his character where he's not just being extremely hostile all the time. Another highlight is when the leader of the school, Umiya, is standing alone against some assholes from a rival gang who want to toss hands. But then Sakura, even after an initial order to stand aside, rides up with the rest of the gang to back up their boss. What a fucking lad! One of my favorite bits is when Sakura takes notice of one of his classmates getting bruised up and actually looks into his business, which leads him to discover a very intense situation this kid is having with one of his former friends, who is a part of an evil gang now, and is very concerned about him. It leads to a badass way for the season to end, as Sakura stands by his classmate, promising him to get his friend back, and alongside with the rest of the class, ride off to save him. Yeah, Sakura is a great lead. His dynamics with the rest of the cast gives a lot of well-written interactions when you see him balance from being a tough guy to being a marshmallow when it comes to his friends teasing him. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's good character work to show how Sakura went from someone who wants power and to be number one to being someone who's genuinely concerned for other people and goes out of their way for them. But the side cast is great as well, as they help my main man develop his character. So let's discuss these guys and see why they're so cool too. When it comes to Sakura's development, the side characters all play a major role in pushing him throughout the show to change, while at the same time providing good work when they are given time to shine, as well as bringing levity to the show. Now the cast is huge in this show, so for the sake of brevity, and to stop this segment from going on forever,
We'll just go over Sakura's friends.
first up is Sakura's right-hand man, Nirei. Now when we first meet Nirei, the audience is led to believe he's a bit of a pushover and very much out of his depth when it comes to fighting. And he is, but he's still pretty goated in other ways. He operates as the Wikipedia of the group, having info on any character or group that Sakura and the rest of the gang don't know about, and informing the audience of the stats or the history of the character. He does have one of my favorite moments in the series, where despite being really weak, he did save a woman from some assholes and took a beating for them until Sakura came in, showing that despite his weak body, his spirit is still strong and noble, an S-tier sidekick through and through. In the ring next, the quiet giant and the simp for Umeya, Shigista. He's the muscle of the group, which is saying a lot because everyone in the school is really strong. He's more a brute force compared to the others. He acts as Sakura's rival, with his and Sakura's personalities clashing often, especially at the start, which does lead to some funny bits in the first season, like how they almost immediately went into a brawl when they first met. However, he and Sakura do have an underlying respect for each other due to the events of Season 1, backing each other up when they need to lock in.
Coach only.
Now the calm but dangerous...
Leonardo DiCaprio, yep.
Nice try, Suo, but you ain't tricking me. Unlike the others, he's more tactical and controlled when in a fight, such as his soul fight in Season 1, where he used his martial arts move to easily defeat an opponent by barely even trying. But underneath the calm, there is a bit of crazy motherfucker in there.
Going through your head right now. Let me guess. Is it an image of you becoming the person you used to ridicule? That's the answer to the question. What you need to become an adult is an imagination.
He's a fun character, and his oddball personality makes him bounce off his more, by default, normal friends, where he is somehow both the straight man of the group and arguably the craziest person there. This dynamic was one of the highlights of Season 1 for me, where it can't be told what Suo is going to do, making him unpredictable, while also having his comedic and serious moments hit even harder. A well-made duality, if I say so. Up next is the guy who needs to find an alternative for taking too many pain medications, Hikari. He doesn't do too much in the first season, aside from being comedic relief, because he's really stressed about Sakura's and the others' antics. But he does have one great moment when he's battling one of his old friends from his past. I'll cover that soon in the next section. But for what he is, he's a good addition to the crew. Now the only non-fighter here, but still a successful business owner, Kotoha. Think of her as the big sister. She provides wisdom and insight to Sakura, pushing him along the way to open up to people around him and change his outlook on things. She does work as supporting cast, and she does provide good advice to Sakura, as I mentioned earlier with her advice about you can't go about it alone. But be careful, you don't want to say anything that might come off as demean to her. Not because she will take it badly, but because...
She's 16. My sister's just mature for her age. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's the man, the myth, but a really chill guy, and the ultimate ride and die, Umeya. He's the top dog at Bofrin, and is a mentor to the younger characters in the cast. He isn't a wise old sage, a grizzled, experienced fighter. Umeya is a chill dude who's a silly goose.
Kota Hazama Rice is the best in Japan!
Bro isn't acting like a boss, he's acting like a chill older brother you would spend the night playing video games and would give you great life advice. And that is why he works so well. He's great at comedic relief, with his more sillier personality contrasting with the serious members of his entourage, and with the rest of Bofrin as they watch their boss act like a goofball. Not to say he's a buffoon, because when shit hits the fan, when his classmates are being threatened by someone else, my man locks the fuck in.
There's no way! Fighting is what I'm here for!
I won't say it again.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
Yeah, exactly, Vegeta. Bro is a badass. Like a true older brother, when someone threatens his family, he does what he does to protect them. But with his wisdom, he's truly an enlightened man. Despite, some touchy stuff like Kotoha, he's a chill dude.
Because what you were trying to do was help this town and its people, yeah? You've got nothing to apologize for. As for Shishistorin, you can leave those guys to your big brothers.
When he beats his opponents, he doesn't let loose vengeance on them, but offers a kind hand and puts it behind him, like a true lad. After the brutal fight he has later on in the series, which we will get into, he's pretty chill about it. He did not want anything from his beaten opponents, since the only reason why he fought was because he was there to defend his friends.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I might as well quickly sum up these two, since they haven't been in the show much due to appearing much later in the season, but I figure they are still worth covering since they are Sakura's friends and will be important in future arcs of the series. First we got Sugure, a gym bro, but actually likable. There's not much to go over him since he doesn't have much screen time in season 1, but he's an aloof but likable dude with good comedic moments to spare, and he has a great dynamic with being a bit too extra with regards to his virtues by what he lives by. Lastly, let's focus on someone I'm looking forward to see in season 2, Kiryu. Kiryu has an attitude of being a very chill and non-attentive person who's basically on his phone all the time and misses out on important details. I didn't know I was in the show, but whatever, it's cool. He has a good side plot where it seems like he's on a date with a girl, but then it's revealed that he isn't actually on a date. Turns out Kiryu saved this girl from being abducted by some punks, and afterwards, he was protecting her for the time being. Hence why I give him the title of the Ultimate Gentleman. But do you know what is as awesome as the side cast? The action scenes! Oh, let's talk about how awesome this show is! Fuck yeah! The fight scenes are so cool in the show. Oh my god, it's epic. The punches and kicks, they hit all so goddamn well. It's like boom, 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 then pulls back and vroom, then delivers a strong hit like boom! It's so goddamn cool.
What are you, 12?
Hey, it's my YouTube channel, alright? I get the fun over some badass fight scenes in my reviews. But enough fanboying, I will be more level-headed when I break down the stuff, so the rest of the segment isn't just going to be me making sound effects. The fights are well choreographed throughout the first season. Even the big all brawls, where it's one guy versus a dozen, it's still pretty damn good, and it doesn't make you scratch your head, nor try to distract you with spectacle. Sakura is able to fight off a small army of punks, and it makes sense for Sakura to be this good since he's been in street fights his whole life, often against people who outnumber him. So he has a knack for situations like this. Sure, there are moments where you could point out where the punks stopped to watch before making their move, but I'm giving those examples a pass because these punks are not elite trained soldiers or anything. They are just a bunch of random assholes who don't have any actual experience in a proper fight and lack the discipline to hold their ground, so it's acceptable they would be making these mistakes. The punks only get an upper hand on Sakura after playing dirty by grabbing Kotoha, forcing him to save her, then stabbing his ankle when he wasn't looking. So everything is excellent with this scene in terms of actually being functional. What does it say when a bunch of rowdy teenagers whose main experience is just street fighting are more intelligent than the top 3 heroes who are still in the top 10 years later? No. Windbreaker now, MHA later. But the real treat is when the show heads to one-on-one fights. There are 3 fights that best show this aspect, all which come from the same arc. But first, context. So Sakura and his gang were on patrol when they saw one of their fellow students being chased by some other guys from another group called Shishistorin. However, Sakura and Shishitori step in and save their friend by kicking those punks' asses. But later on, the Shishistorin guys, thinking their guys were the victims, come back to challenge Bofurun to a series of fights, where if Bofurun loses just one, the whole school will have to join Shishistorin. Already we have some big stakes for the cast, so there is compelling reasons to care about what happens next, but the story ups the investment with what they do with the characters. Just know I ain't going to go through all of them, not because I don't like them, but because I wish to save some time, and they aren't as good as the ones I will highlight. With that said, let's begin. The first match is Hikari versus his former friend, Sako. But first, there is some context between these two, since they have a history. So Hikari and Sako were close to each other when they were younger. Hikari saved Sako from some bullies by delivering those punks a rather nasty beatdown. Amazed by Hikari's moves, Sako asked to be trained by him. They spent a lot of time hanging out, and Sako looked up to Hikari, who he was on his side for years and thought they would go far together. However, Hikari revealed he's going to follow Umumiya at Bofurun and encourages Sako to find his own path, much to the heartbreak of Sako. Sako's very much upset about what happened between both of them and wants his payback. He gives a brutal beatdown and almost knocks our hero out. But when it seems like all hope is lost, Hikari musters enough strength to hold on. But before he lands his final attack on Sako, Hikari apologizes to him. He reminisces about not living up to what Sako thought of him and feeling bad for leaving him behind. But that doesn't matter now. He has a job to do for his friends. But it's bittersweet for Hikari, feeling very ashamed and saddened about what him leaving Sako did to his former friend. But Umemiya, the absolute GOAT, comforts his right-hand man like a Chad, where he gives his friend support, but makes it clear that his friend can share whatever he wants if he feels comfortable doing.
Inspiring.
This fight works despite the limited time we spent with the two fighters. We are given enough information to become invested in the fight, with the story being able to distill all the important bits and relaying in a compelling way while gaining more context about Hikari's life and showing he has more layers to him than originally thought. We see that he isn't just some joke side character, but someone who has gone through his own experiences, and they have helped him shape the person he is today. It's not the best character writing ever, but still pretty good. Now we got Sakura vs. Togame. Both of them had a bit of an interaction when they first met a few episodes ago. During their first encounter, Sakura saw Togame beat the shit out of one of his grunts for being weak, which of course left a lasting impression on Sakura since of the brutality on display and the fact that he did this to one of his teammates, further putting Sakura off. Now they get to have their grudge match as the two guys battle it out for their respective teams. And the fight isn't going well for Sakura at first, as Togame easily handles the attacks and absolutely cooks Sakura's ass. Throughout the show, we are used to seeing Sakura body people like it's nothing. We know he's strong, but to see him getting destroyed by Togame here is a really distressing sight. Despite how OP Sakura is, there are still people who can mess him up. And we see it, especially with how brutal this beatdown is, as Sakura might lose. But right before Togame is about to win, Sakura drops a bomb.
You're so tough, but you chase middle school kids. I'm not losing to a bunch of cowards!
Turns out Togame didn't know his guys were the ones who were being the assholes in this situation. He then delivers a brutal ass whipping to both of them, and he returns to the stage, acting like nothing happened. But inside, he's starting to have a whole mental crisis about how he got here and what the gang has become up to this point. Once upon a time, he, Choji, and the rest of the gang were happy. However, issues started to arise with the leader of the group, Choji. Choji grew to become the most powerful member of the gang, but he started to feel empty inside because he was all alone due to the immense power gap between him and his teammates. He felt he was the only one who was really free because of his strength. So to improve the quality of the gang from his point of view, Choji decides to brutally beat up anyone who he deems as weak. Togame, being fairly upset by this, tries to reason with Choji, but his old friend has the mindset locked into him. So to make sure Choji doesn't become isolated from the gang, Togame volunteered to be the enforcer, the guy who picks on the weaklings. So Choji would still have the rest of the gang to be friends with, while he's the one who's alone. But with this new information revealed to him, Togame questioned everything he did up to this point. His only course of action he can think of is to give up on the fight, seeing there is no reason to go on anymore. But Sakura motivated him to fight on, not wanting to win the fight with Togame if he's not even trying. So they continue on their brutal fight, where they keep exchanging blows with all their might. And we see Togame is actually enjoying himself with this fight, probably the first time in a long time since Choji's descent into villainy, where he's not just being a brutal bully, but instead enjoying a fight with a tough opponent because it's fun for him, with the person he used to be finally coming back. But Togame, touched by Sakura's convictions, which are far stronger than his when Choji fell into darkness, lets Sakura beat him by allowing him to land the final blow. But it doesn't matter to him that he lost. For the first time, he has clarity in his mind on who he is and what he values. But it isn't enough to sway Choji as he pummels Togame into a wall. Obviously, Sakura is pissed by his action and almost delivered a powerful punch to Choji, but Umemiya steps in to stop him. It's now Umemiya's time to shine, which leads to the final fight in this arc. Umemiya versus Choji. The fight is brutal between the two leaders as they both fight with all their hearts. But no matter how much Choji does to my man Umemiya, nothing is fazing him. Every punch, despite its strength and force, does nothing to affect him. Even when it comes to more brutal attacks, nothing is slowing down Umemiya because Choji has lost his way. There's no conviction behind his hits anymore. They have no meaning. He has lost himself in despair and loneliness that he has felt for so long. And now when finding someone who can match him and hold their own, it starts to break him as he loses the one thing he still had, being the strongest. Just like the previous two fights, Uemiya and Choji get into the meat of the characters. The battle of ideas between these men and why they fight. Choji fights to make up for the emptiness he feels and for the freedom he seeks and wants to bring others into the fold, not because he wants them to be freed, but because he doesn't want to be alone. Meanwhile, Uemiya fights for his friends and Bofrin, which motivates him to keep going, but he also tries to reach out to Choji to break through to him. So even when Choji is more brutal and vicious, Uemiya still doesn't back down. In fact, he brings Choji back from the darkness by giving him a proper beatdown and quite literally knocking the sense back into him and saves his soul. After losing the fight, even though the bet was the losing side would join the winning side, Uemiya doesn't go through with it. He came here to defend his friends. He has no interest in expanding his team. He instead offered Choji and Togami to join him and his gang for some food. They chill out, Uemiya accepts their apology, and all of them go their merry way. These fights show why Windbreaker is such a great show. They work to the benefit of the characters, helping to flesh them out and the dynamics they have with each other. With every attack they throw or withstand, they give the idea of who these characters are. But the show, despite my simping, is not perfect by any stretch of the means. So it is best to talk about the flaws of the series. There are some minor issues with the world building of the series, and I do have some questions about how things operate with Bofrin and the setting. What exactly are these guys being taught at Bofrin? It's a school, they go there, but there are no teachers anywhere in sight. So they do whatever they want all day? I don't know how they can get into a good college with lack of classes and schoolwork to show to anyone, or even good credentials to get a job after high school. I mean, I guess they can go into military work or private bodyguards, but I doubt everyone wants to do that. Plus, where are the cops in this series? This small town is only protected by this gang. Where are the public officials? Is there a government body? A mayor? Anyone? Plus, where are the kids' parents? Like, I'll let Sakura slide because it's shown that no one liked him, so I could see that his parents not caring about him due to his issues, but what about everyone else? Don't they have families? Why have none of these kids' parents popped in and been concerned about these kids' dangerous jobs?
It is of no concern.
These writing issues don't ruin the show, but at the same time, it can take someone out of the series and be like, where are the adults in this series? But aside from that questionable world building, it's still a great show. It's flawed, but nothing is perfect. And if this is the worst the show can get, it's not a big deal. Overall, the show is good and mostly well put together. The main lead allows for a lot of character work and growth, and the sidecast helps to bring it out more. With excellent fight scenes and investing character development, it's a worthwhile show that will give you a good time if you're interested. Some aspects could be better explained, like the world building with Bofrin, but it doesn't break the story. It's not perfect by any means, but still solid enough. And when it hits, it slams it out of the park for a home run. So the final score is 9 out of 10.